Gonna be the first on the dance floor, the first to raise my hand, the first to state my opinion, the first to take a stand. I won't play it safe and wait for a sign. I'm gonna throw myself out there and let my light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I'll let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Ow! I'll be on Oprah and Conan, 60 Minutes and The View. They'll all be talking about me and all the things I do. I'll be the one who sets the bar, the one who's in the know. Vogue will come to me to see where fashion trends will go. 'Cause I shine, yes I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. For too many years I hid my light, fearing I was too much and who I was just wasn't right. Then I heard this voice from within and up above saying, you're here to be a shining light and give and receive love. So I'm going for my dreams, nothing's in my way. Carpe diem is my mantra, I practice kindness every day. I take time to connect, I take time to have fun. I wanna know I've used up every drop before my life is done. So I shine, yes I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Wasn't right. But I heard this voice from within and up above saying, you're here to be a shining light and give and receive love. Give and receive love. I am a woman of power, a woman of grace. The life that I've lived is in every wrinkle on my face. And I love myself so I can love you too. And I know when we're connected there ain't nothing we can't do. So let's shine, let's all shine. Let's let our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. I see you shine, shine. Yes you shine, shine. I see your big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Watch me shine, oh I shine. I let my big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine. Shine, yeah, let's all shine. Let's let our big, bright, brilliant beam of radiant light shine.
morning. Good morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. I don't think that my microphone is on, is it? Oh, okay. I'm very quiet today. That's unusual for me. Like, that never happens, right? All right. Anyways, good morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome this morning. If you don't know who I am, my name is Reverend Chris Ashley. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center. We are physically located in Falls Church, Virginia. However, we have a thriving global community where anybody can join from anywhere in the world and be a part of our community, be a part of the service, and be a part of celebration. So I'm so glad you're here, whether you're here in the room, if you're joining us online, or even if you're watching later. Thank you for being here with us and lending us your presence and your love. We have a wonderful service planned today. Lynn Hollyfield, our music director, is back. Yay! I'm super excited to have her back. It's always a good day when Lynn's in the room. We have Rich Kurashevitz as our practitioner on platform. Yay, Rich! And I am going to be giving the message. We have one more week in our talk about community and what community means. However, this is the last Sunday that y'all have to hear me talk about it because next, wow. Because next week we are going to be having Reverend JJ Giaducci here as our guest speaker. So I'm super excited to have her next week. And oh my gosh, y'all, I don't know if you remember last week or if you saw last week, but I have so many things to tell you this morning, so I'm super excited about our service today. Let's see. We are still collecting things for our Vision and Action supply drive. This month is bar soap, toothpaste, and shampoo, more shampoo. And just so y'all know, I dropped off the shampoo last month, and we collected 48 bottles of shampoo, and dropped them off to them. They were super excited to have them, and we already, our bin down here is filling up, so if you're in the room, you want to bring toothpaste, shampoo, or bar soap, you can do that up through next week before we drop it off, and we'll have the next month's item. If you're online and you would like to participate in that, you can go to our giving and just click on Vision and Action, and we will use your money to buy those supplies for refugees. Next, we are continuing with Flat Earnest Summer Vacation. The pictures are rolling in. Y'all, this is like my favorite thing ever because I get to see all of the cool places that y'all are going through the eyes of Flat Earnest. And I'm just going to let y'all know that he has been further than any of us. He has made it all the way into outer space. So if you have not participated in Flat Earnest Summer Vacation yet, you can go to celebrationcenter.org. Under our community, you'll see Flat Earnest Summer Vacation. The whole photo album of everybody's pictures from all over the place is up there. There's also a link that you can print your very own Flat Earnest, or if you're here in the room, we have him over here for you. We also, as y'all may remember last week, Miriam Catellis is our new volunteer coordinator. And so now we have a really fancy web page for y'all to go to. So let me show y'all this web page. So it's right up there. And as you can see, you can just scroll down and let us know on the form what you're interested in doing, and then click submit. There's Miriam's beautiful picture there. And then Miriam can add you to all of the lists of things that you're interested in. And then what's going to happen is you'll get an email and it'll say, hey, you signed up to be a greeter. Here's all of the slots that we have available. Click on when you want to sign up, and then it'll send you email reminders and let you know exactly what it entails to be in those positions. Super, super cool, y'all. So if you're interested in volunteering, go to our website that's also under our community, under volunteers, and fill out that form. If you've been around for a while, and I know that you greeted pre-pandemic, you're already on the list. We're already going to be hitting you up for things. So I invite everybody to go fill out that form, though. And Oh, the last thing. A lot of y'all have been asking when I'm getting married. So I want to give you an update on that. Reverend Ryan and I are getting married in 37 days. Not that anybody's counting. I actually think it's 36 days and 5 hours, if anybody is counting. And we are getting married on the beach in the Outer Banks, super intimate. There's going to be about 15 people there, just our super closest friends and a couple of family members. And so we are not inviting like anyone. So don't feel bad if you did not get an invitation because it is going to be super intimate. However, we do have a website. So if you're interested, kind of just learning a little bit more, smiling along with us, seeing some pictures, you can snap the QR code, or you can go to withjoy.com and then type in either Reverend Ryan's name, Ryan Alexander, or mine, Chris Ashley, and they all of the information about us will pull up. So, with all of that, I would like to welcome guests who are here for the first time. Sorry, y'all, there's a lot going on in my brain this morning. So, if you are joining us online, I would love for you to just say hi in the chat. Whether you are brand new or you've been here a million times, say good morning. Let us know what you're eating for breakfast this morning. I'm feeling like somebody's eating oatmeal, or maybe that's just because I ate oatmeal this morning. I'm not sure. And if this is your first time joining us, if you're in the room, you can either snap the QR code that's right there. That's going to bring you to a guest form you can fill out. We also have guest forms over here on the table. Or if you're online, you can go to that website, that bit.ly that's down there. Or also snap the QR code just so we can find out who you are, where you're from, how we can support you in this community. And now I would like to invite Lynn up for an opening song.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to continue with this beautiful song called Be the Light by Leah Morris that was inspired by Amanda Gorman's poem. And hopefully we're all learning it together, so please sing along with me. There's always a light when we are ready to see it. There's always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise your eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will. There's always a light, there's always, when we're ready to see it. There's always a light, there's always, when we're ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise your eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will shine your light in the darkness. Shine your light in the darkness. Let your bright heart shine out loud and climb this hill. Together we will. Let's go back to the beginning. There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There's always a light. There is always, when we're ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise your eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill. Together we will be light.
Good morning, and thank you, Lynn. As we enter into the sacred time in our service, I invite you to remember our vision as we say it aloud together. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Feel how you are supported by your chair and the ground beneath your feet. I invite you to focus on your heart center, becoming aware of your love light expanding in your chest and radiating out into the world as we breathe together. Each breath has 3 parts: an inhale, a pause, and an exhale. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Take a minute to continue experiencing your light radiating out from your chest. Connect to the love light of our beloved community, those present in the room, online, and watching in the future. I invite you to stay in the sacred space as I read today's reading from The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. Nothing could give form to a formless substance which has no mind of its own, but some intelligence operating through it. Here, then, we come back to the Word as the starting point of all creation. God's Word in the great creation, the great world, and man's Word in the small world. One spirit, one mind, and one substance. One law, but many ideas. One power, but many ways of using it. One God in whom we all live, and one law which we all use. No greater unity could be conceived than that which is already given. We are, therefore, members of the universe, and being members of that which unites everything, we are some part of each other. And so we pray. God is all there is. God is the one power, the one presence, the one mind, one substance, the creator and the creation. God is the infinite presence of love in the universe and the all-sustaining source of all. God is good, and I am that I am. I am one with God and all there is. I am one with the power, the presence, and the mind of God. I am perfect, whole, and complete. And just as I am perfect, whole, and complete, each and every one is perfect, whole, complete, eternal, and immortal. I declare that the presence of God is manifested in our lives in the form of peace, love, joy, abundance, health, harmony, goodness, freedom, prosperity, compassion, and friendship. I know that this truth sets us free as we affirm there is only one life. That life is God, and that life is perfect, whole, and complete. That life is our life right now. I know that each and every one affirms that good. I know through daily and frequent spiritual practices, our consciousness is raised to experience truth in our lives, to reveal love, light, and goodness. I affirm that we live, move, and have our being in God, in spirit. I am so very grateful for the good that is always available and for the one power and presence that is the infinite good that surrounds us, for we are all of one substance. I am grateful for this truth that sets us free to live our lives full in light and freedom, for the universe conspires for our good. And I release my word unto the law where it is already known in the mind of God and is assured of fulfillment. This is the word of God and will not return unto me void. I do give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
Okay, I'm going to do a song called Beautiful People by Melanie. Beautiful people, you live in the same world as I do, but somehow I never noticed you before today. I am ashamed to say, beautiful people, we share the same back door and it isn't right. We've never met before, but then we may never meet again. And if I weren't afraid you would laugh at me, I would run and take all your hands. And I'd gather everyone together for a day. And when we gathered, I'd pass buttons out that say, beautiful people, then you'd never have to be alone. 'Cause there's always someone with the same button on as you. Include them in everything you do. Beautiful people, you ride the same subway as I do every morning. That's got to tell you something. We've got so much in common. I go the same direction that you do. So if you take care of me, I'll take care of you. Beautiful people, you look like friends of mine, and it's about time that someone said it here and now. I make a vow that sometime, somehow, I'll have a meeting, invite everyone you know. I'll pass out buttons to the ones who come to show. 'cause there's always someone with the same button on as you. Include them in everything you do. Maybe they're sitting right next to you. They may be beautiful people too. And if you take care of them, maybe they'll take care of you too.
Thank you, Lynn. And thank you. That was a Janine suggestion. So thank you so much. And I just turned my speakers back on. There we go. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. So what I love about talking about community is that then I look out, and whether I can see you with my regular eyes or my third eye because you're online or you're here in the room, I'm speaking about community to my community. How cool is that, right? And so we're just all learning and growing and evolving in this idea of what community is together. So as a reminder, for this whole month, we've been talking about intervulnerability. And I have a quote for y'all. It's the same quote we've been using. I'm going to read it through really quickly, and then we're going to focus on the ends. So this says, when I say we are intervulnerable, I mean we suffer together, whether consciously or unconsciously. Albert Einstein called the idea of a separate self an optical delusion of consciousness. Martin Luther King Jr. said that we are all connected in an inescapable web of mutuality. There's no way out, though we try to escape by armoring ourselves against pain and in the process diminishing our lives and our consciousness. But in our intervulnerability is our salvation, because awareness of the mutuality of suffering impels us to search for ways to heal the whole, rather than encase ourselves in a bubble of denial and impossible individualism. At this point in history, it seems that we will either destroy ourselves or find a way to build a sustainable life together. And that's the part that I want to focus on. At this point in history, it seems that we will either destroy ourselves or find a way to build a sustainable life together. Now, I personally think that we are finding a way to build a sustainable life together. And in order to do that, it's a lot of work. I think I had this idea in my early 20s. Hold on, y'all. I'm just going to pause for a second to pull up my notes because this whole trying to talk through it isn't working. All right, there we go. I think I had this idea in my early 20s that it would be easy, right? I talked about, a couple weeks ago, I talked about this idea of how easy it is to be enlightened on a mountaintop. And that, anybody can go out in the woods or up into a beautiful place and sit down and meditate and become enlightened. And yes, that is the role of some people. But for all of us here, that's obviously not our role, at least not all the time, because we're here, right? We're here in society creating this together. And how much harder is it to be enlightened when there's other people around and they're rubbing their rough edges against our rough edges, and when we have to go to work and we have to live our lives and answer the phone and cook the food and all of this stuff. And so that is where the magic is, this idea of community. Enlightenment really isn't complete if it is just kind of somewhere out on the mountain by yourself. That to me is not what I'm going for personally. And like I said, there are people on the planet that is their purpose, to sit up on a mountaintop and be enlightened. And yay, because we need those people. We need those people holding high watch over the planet and holding that level of consciousness. And we get to know what is ours to do down here in the world together, rubbing our rough edges and figuring it all out together, right? And so what was interesting is I went to look for my Ernest quote, And the Ernest quote that I found, oh, y'all, it's a really good one this week. So let me just show it to y'all, because his last sentence is the same as her last sentence. So what he says is, there is one spirit incarnated in everyone, an immortal presence forever expanding everything, causing everything to grow. What a difference it would make in our human relations if we tried to sense the meaning of this divine incarnation in all people and adjust our viewpoint to the truth that all are bound together in the unity of God. So, that same thing, all are bound together in the unity of God. We have to find a sustainable way of living together. That there is this inescapable web of mutuality. That is exactly what Ernest Holmes is saying here. Oh, yay. And what's really cool about it is that we're not just bound to one another. We're bound to the stars, right? There's so many. We are literally made of stardust. We are the particles of stars that exploded billions of years ago. And now, they're doing all this work in the quantum field, and they found, I should have looked this up because now I'm talking about it and I'm just going off, I'm winging it, but they found that electrons, there's no separation in time and space, that there's an instantaneous communication, no matter how far away they are from one another, no matter how long they've been separated, that when you mess with a particle over here, that across the world, that another particle will react, not after it travels or after it communicates, or simultaneously the exact same time. And so if we are stardust, then that is happening not only with us here, but with other galaxies and other planets and other stars. Y'all have heard me say that that galaxies billions and trillions of miles away are aligning to make your manifestations become real. I don't mean that esoterically. I mean that literally, that the entire universe is conspiring for our highest good, for your highest good, for my highest good, for the collective highest good, because that's all there is. How cool is that? So, as I was researching this week, it's called We Are Star Stuff. And so I found a baby picture of all of you. I found a few baby pictures of all of y'all. And so I want you, and you're probably going to recognize these pictures if you have been on the internet at all in the last few weeks. But I want you to look at these pictures. They're from the James Webb Telescope. Look at these baby pictures of you, and my mind is blown looking at these pictures. And we've been looking at the cosmos for many, many years now. And I think the beauty of this telescope, and and my friend who is a part of NASA let me know that they went way over budget. It was very frustrating to work with them on all of this stuff. And yes, and I think the brilliance of the pictures that are coming out is that it's reminding us of what we already knew but forgot a little bit in the recent years, especially with the pandemic and everything, the vastness of the cosmos. I mean, it is just mind-blowing. So, y'all ready to see your baby pictures? All right, so this is your first baby picture. So cute. So this is the Southern Ring Nebula. And these pictures, this is one of the ones where they showed a side-by-side from the Hubble telescope and the James Webb telescope. And this clarity and imaging is just mind-blowing. So this one you saw Ernest was visiting earlier. This is the cosmic cliffs in the Carina Nebula. And this is another one. You've probably seen this picture before when it came out from the Hubble telescope. But the clarity on this is just unreal. Here is Stephen's quartet. So each one of these is a galaxy like the Milky Way galaxy that we live in. Like every one of those points is a galaxy, right? And then finally, and this is the picture I want to talk about. This is the first deep field picture that the James Webb Telescope took. And so you look at it and you go, yeah, cool, a lot of stars. But actually, with the exception of the really big points that have the vectors off of them, every single one of those is a galaxy. Every point of light is a galaxy. And what's interesting about this picture is that you can see galaxies behind galaxies because the first galaxies act like a magnifying glass and magnify the galaxies behind it so we can see things 13 billion years ago. We are looking at the light of stars that existed 13 billion years ago. So literally, like, this is you. You're made of this stardust now, right? And there's one galaxy in here, the galaxy that we're looking through to magnify those other galaxies, it's 4.3 billion years old. So we are looking at the light that it was emitting 4.3 billion years ago. Like, that's just mind-blowing. There are thousands of galaxies in this picture, in this one picture alone. It includes the faintest objects ever viewed on infrared. And this picture right here is the equivalent of somebody holding a grain of sand up at arm's length and looking at it. That is the size of the picture that we are looking at, of a piece of what was black sky. And when we magnify it out and when we take that telescope, this is what we can see. And y'all, it's so interesting because when they finally proved the Higgs boson, they said, if your mind isn't completely blown, then you don't understand it. And I think that this is the same here. And even if your mind is blown, I don't think that we can actually comprehend the size of us. Because then you look at 1 grain of salt worth of, or 1 grain of sand, not sure it really matters, in the night sky worth of view, and you see thousands of galaxies, and that's 1 grain of sand's worth in the sky. And then you spread that out and you think about how many galaxies there are everywhere that we don't even know about, and that's just in the visible night sky, right? And then you think about the fact that there's probably multiverses. So there are multiple universes of this going on. And then, not that we can wrap our head around any of that, but there's something else beyond all of that, outside of time and space. We don't even have words for any of this. I'm just, using words that are really finite, but I'm trying to explain the infinite. It is just incredible. And so if we could just take just the slightest little hint of that and remember that we are bound together in an inescapable web of mutuality, that we together are the unity of the whole, how much more could we get done, right? So it was really interesting after my talk last week, and I talked a lot about rugged individualism and this idea that personal good, right? There's no such thing as personal good. And so if I can trust that something is good for me, I can trust that it is good for you from this highest good perspective, right? And that when we take care of one another, or when we focus on the whole, what is beneficial for the whole, we can trust that it's beneficial for us too. And I had somebody come to me and they said, individualism is good. Individualism is what makes me me. Individualism is what I teach to people to know that they're unique and that they're beautiful and perfect. And I realized that I didn't actually define what I meant by rugged individualism. And as soon as I defined that for this person, they went, oh yeah, no, that's not what I meant by individualism. And when they sent me their message about what they mean by individualism, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's good. I want that. I'm not saying no to that. And so it dawned on me that I made an assumption, which how often do we do that in community, right? When we're having conversations with one another. So rugged individualism, this idea of rugged individualism that I'm saying no to, down with rugged individualism, right? Is this idea that you're in it alone. Nobody helped you. You pulled yourself up by your bootstraps and you got to where you are with no help whatsoever. And that if somebody else isn't where you think they should be, it's because they haven't worked hard enough. And here's the problem with that mindset. On top of asking for help is bad and wrong, and you always want to be the person in the position of helping, never the one that needs help, right? On top of all of that being really difficult to upkeep for our entire lives, everybody needs help sometimes. And so what ends up happening is that we become ashamed of the help we need rather than joyfully asking for help, knowing that that means that somebody then gets to joyfully give to us, right? But the problem with that is it completely negates all of the people and the systems and the processes that were in place that got you to where you are. If you drove on a road to get to work, you didn't do it alone. Somebody made that road for you. Somebody built that building for you. Somebody gave you that job. That we are connected. There is no rugged individualism. And so what happens is that when we say, I did it all myself and you should too, we completely negate the systems that are in place that might have supported us more than they are supporting other people. And if we can't see those systems and see how they are benefiting some and hurting others, then we can't shift them around to create a world that actually works for everyone. And so I'm not saying by any stretch at all that you need to conform to be a part of the community. In fact, I'm saying the exact opposite. And we're going back to Brene Brown, y'all, because I was thinking about it and I was like, it's this idea of belonging versus fitting in. Belonging versus fitting in. And when I say community, I don't mean a community that you have to fit into. I mean a community that you belong in. Brene Brown says, true belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of the world, in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to become who you are. And so when I say we are creating a community where everybody is working for the mutual good of all, what I am saying is we are creating a community where each and every one of us get to show up as wholly ourselves, authentically, vulnerably ourselves, and that there is more than enough room for all of us. And I think we all have a glimpse of that. We've all been in a space or in a room where we felt completely accepted and loved for exactly who we are. And maybe you just caught like a glimpse. Maybe it was like 1 second or like 5 minutes. You were telling a story and everybody was enraptured, or you were petting a cat off in the corner while somebody else was telling a story, whatever it was, but you were just wholly yourself and everybody was okay with it. Or maybe you have that experience regularly. And what we're working to build here is that this is the regular experience where you're having that. You get to show up as all of you. All of you. And sometimes the all of you is going to be beautiful and perfect and so amazing and great, and everything's going so well, and everything worked out, and all the lights were green as you drove to church or to get your coffee before church, and everybody was so happy. And sometimes the you that shows up to church is just barely hanging on, I remember one day, I was 19 years old, and I was attending this mega church in Dallas. I had like a 6-month stint at the Grapevine, I think is what it was called. And I got pulled over by a very mean police officer on the way to church. I mean, he was just not a nice person. He wasn't being nice to me, and I had been speeding or whatever 19-year-old me was doing, right? And he gave me 3 tickets. He gave me a ticket for speeding, he gave me a ticket for my expired registration, and he gave me a ticket for the crack in my windshield that was this long off in the bottom corner that I didn't even know was there. And I was really annoyed. So I showed up to church grumpy and mad, and I was telling my friend, right? I found my friend. There's like, I don't know, thousands of people in this church, and I find my friend, and I'm kind of like going off on her, and she's like, you just need to be quiet. Everybody's gonna look at us, right? And in that moment, I felt shut down. That was not a community experience for me. I could not show up as my whole self. And so, you know what? If you get 3 tickets, come tell us about it. If you're really annoyed because the police officer was mean to you, come tell us about it. Show up as your whole self. Show up as your whole self. Because I made illustrations, y'all, and I just really want to show y'all because I really enjoy doing this. So this fitting in, the problem that happens is we become like this little guy here, right? And like you're fitting into the box, but like there's still open spaces, and you've like had to contort yourself to fit into this space that's not really for you, but you're making it work, right? You're making it work. And what I love the most about this picture is this person seems completely unperturbed by the position that they are being forced to stay in for the rest of their life. And don't we do that? Don't we make it okay in our minds? This is fine. Everything's fine. I can't be me, but like they really love me for this person that I've created. They love that person, so I'm just going to keep doing this. It's okay. It's all working out. Everything's okay, right? Everything's okay. If you're whispering that to yourself, it probably isn't. And when I look at this idea of belonging, the picture that comes into my head is something like this, where we create, the center creates this scaffolding and this framework. So we are not a place where anybody can walk through the door and feel like this is the place for them. They can feel welcome. We can love them. We can make sure that they are safe, that they have a place to be, that when they click online, they feel connected, that they feel like we're a part. But it's not going to necessarily be for them. We have boundaries. We have principles. We have things that we believe. And not everybody believes those, and that's okay. So those principles, that foundation, that is the scaffolding. But what was beautiful about that picture is that look at all that space. Look at all that space. And so you get to come in, and I get to come in, and we all get to come in, and we take up whatever space we need. And maybe some people climb up into the rafters and they hang big banners down, and that's the space that they're taking up. And maybe your space to take up is over here in the floor in a little corner, and you're just doing your thing over here. Or maybe your space to take up is in the whole middle of the room. Whatever it is, there is space for all of us. And so we have constructed the framework together, and then the community comes in their whole authentic selves, and we just make the space our own together. And it becomes this beautiful, messy, creative, brilliant thing. And maybe your space encroaches on my space a little bit, and that's okay. We work it out because there's more than enough space for all. And so we can always find that win-win, win-win-win scenario. Always, always, always. That's my vision of community, one where we can stretch out and we can take up all of the space that we want, as much as we want. And maybe some days you take up less space and some days you take up more space, but either way, the space is there for you to take up in the community. And so this, to me, then when we have the framework built, when we're sitting on a foundation together, then that is true safety and belonging. Because we can not only know and understand what the community is and take up our space and be authentic, but we can also trust that we're all on the same page, that we have the same expectations, that we have the same agreements, that if somebody comes in and they damage or vandalize our space, or they are unkind or whatever it is, that framework exists for us to say, hey, I love you, and I love your authentic self, and this behavior is not okay. And so this space, this framework exists for people to come in and be authentically themselves. And so it's, we say this to children a lot, right? You can be angry. You can't hit me to show me you're angry, right? And so I love you. I love that you're angry right now. And you get to express that anger in a way that doesn't hurt other people in the community. And so when we have that, then we can trust that when we come into this community, we can show up authentically and still have those safe frameworks that exist so that everyone gets to be wholly, authentically, fully themselves. That's what we're building together. That's it. So I want to end today with another poem. And I invite you, I have a tell us question today. My tell us question, I'm going to tell you the tell us question, then I'm going to read the poem, and y'all can close your eyes. Then Lynn is going to play a song, and then answer the tell us question. So be thinking about the tell us question while she plays the song and while I read this poem. But my question for you today is, what is community to you? We're just going to keep it super open. What is this community that we're talking about? What does that mean to you? And so now I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath. Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. This is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up often. You didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and rising again into remembering. But unconditional love, stop telling that story. Love in truth doesn't need any adjectives. It doesn't require modifiers. It doesn't require the condition of perfection. It only asks that you show up and do your best and stay present and feel fully. That you shine and fly and laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fall and get back up and play and work and live and die as you. It's enough. It's plenty. And so now Lynn is going to play us a song. That is by Courtney Walsh.
Okay, I'd like to share this song that's called One Another, and it's written by Tom Persado Rao and Rachel Bissix. When one voice meets another, when a person heals a stranger with their careful empathy, when the night falls quiet to a million skyful stars, I know I am right there where you are. When one mind meets another in generosity, when a person holds another in their arms of sympathy, when the sun sets the sky into flames overhead, that's when I remember what you said. December's leafless trees reveal the mountain's shoulders, so can we shed all the things that keep us from one another. Time is tugging, I can't fight it no matter how I try, till I slow down and discover with the eyes of a child all the magic and the wonder in a million grains of sand, and a whole world in that child's outstretched hand. When one voice meets another in a wave of harmony, when a person heals a stranger with their careful empathy, when the night falls quiet to a million skyful stars, I know I am right there where you are. I know I am right there where you are.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you. So, what does community mean to you? So if you're online, please type your answer in so we can see it. And if you're here in the room, you are welcome to come up and share. What does community mean to you? Yes, Janine, come on up.
I'm Janine Ballou. For those that haven't met me before, oh my goodness, hello, Josh. I'm the current and new Leadership Council president, and I want to be a little bit more up in your face to tell you some of the great stuff that's happening. Our community is vibrant. And what I wanted to tell you, I actually have several things I want to say if I could take the floor for a couple minutes. This community, to me, is a safe space. It's a landing space. It's an anchor for me, and I love these people that are sitting here. And if you're out in the audience and I haven't met you yet online, I love you too, because I know you love me. And this is part of what it is. I did something last night, and Lynn doesn't know this, but I went to your concert. I was there in the audience, and I saw you, and it was a beautiful experience. And you can cry a little if you want to, Lynn, but I have to tell y'all something, that Lynn has a community that is so vast and so big, and she is so beloved in her world, that it was a gift to me to see people there who were so excited that Lynn was about to take the stage. I'm glad I made that journey, and to me, part of being in community is we have to reach out for each other, to each other, that it sometimes takes a drive, and it also gave me the realization that Lynn makes a heck of a drive to get to us every day. So thank you for that. She is our community, and we are yours. We are yours. And so to me, what community requires of me is to take that step and to not be afraid to move forward. But it also means that you need to tell me, where do you want me to meet you? Because I can't guess. Lynn made it easy because she put something online and invited us all to this program that keep inviting us, because all of us need to go see you sing, because you're beautiful and your music is astonishingly great. And so I want to know what Paula needs me to do to visit her. And I want to know what Harrison needs me to do to visit him. And I want to know, where can I meet you, Rich? Because I know there's something where I can do something with you. That's community to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. And what I love about that, I mean, just, yes. And community doesn't mean that you have to let go of other community, right? You can be here and everywhere else too. You can just be big and fly high. Thank you, Janine. What does community mean to you? Jen, yes.
It's a broad subject, and I think it changes for me depending on where I'm at and what I need. And I'm reading a book about the healing power of storytelling. And I was thinking of Janine because I have never been to a Toastmasters event, but I'm assuming a lot of it's about storytelling. And so I think that's a lot of what community is for me, is to listening to people's stories. Like, she just told a story about seeing Lynn and how that touched her heart, and it touched our hearts. And to me, that's a perfect example of what being in community is. It's the opportunity to open each other's hearts and make that connection.
Thank you, Jen. What does community mean to you? Well, what I know is that community is a place where you can sit and not speak up to. And that's perfectly okay. That just showing up and being you is perfectly okay. Oh, do we have one? There we go. Beth says community. That's a tough one for me as I continue to try to figure it out, as I don't really have one. I'm on the fringes of multiple, not one to call my own. My follow-up question for Beth would be, and maybe I'll call you Beth, but you don't have to answer this online, is what is this community? What can this community do so that you can dive in and feel like it's yours? And I think that that's a question. If there's an answer, if you have an answer to that question, if you feel like you're on the fringes or you're online, tell me. Tell me. You don't have to answer it right now, but if you're on the fringes and you're like you've dipped a toe in, but like you're not all the way in, what could this community do to support you in feeling like it's your own? And you can email me, revchris@celebrationcenter.org. Or set up a meeting with me. If you go to our website and look under ministers, there's actually a place where you can set an appointment with me. Anybody can set an appointment with me, and we can meet and talk. And I want to hear. So, thank you, everyone. Let's pray after all that. So what I know is that this feeling right here in this moment, whatever the feeling is, this is that one thing. Showing up the infiniteness, the vastness of galaxies upon grains of sand upon galaxies is all wrapped up and expressing itself in this moment as this feeling that each and every one of us is feeling, whatever the feeling is. That each and every one of us is that baby picture. Each and every one of us is the nebulas, the stars that are being birthed, the stars that have exploded for us to be here. All of us are all of that simultaneously. We are all one another simultaneously. That everything truly is this interconnected web of mutuality, of messiness, of beauty, of perfection, of imperfection, of love. And so I just know and see the divine in each and every face. Each and every face here in the room, each and every face online, each and every face that will be watching us years down the road. That everyone is that infinite thing, that we all are that divine spark here on earth. And so I just know and affirm that this community is thriving. Like Janine said, it is thriving and it continues to thrive and grow. That we continue to be a safe landing space for everyone. For anyone who is seeking this framework, we are here. And we can show up and be authentically, wholly, vulnerably ourselves with one another, trusting that this framework, that this place is here as a space that we are all welcome to build and grow and evolve and shape and change and just be together. And so I'm so grateful for this beloved community. I'm so grateful for the landing spot that it has been for me. I am so grateful for everyone that I have met here in this community and everyone that will continue to walk through the proverbial doors, whether they are actual doors or internet doors. And I simply release my word, I let it go as I have spoken, and even greater, as we say together, and so it is. And so, not quite yet, you're good. You have another minute. You can continue to regroup. This is the time in our service for our gifts and our offerings. And so I invite you, if you have a monetary gift for us today, if you're here in the room, you can give that in the basket. If you're online, you can click the QR code. Or, that was very good, y'all. Tech team is on it. You can click the QR code, or you can go to celebrationcenter.org and click on the give button. And either way, it will take you to our Secure Breeze website where there are multiple options for donation. And now I would like to invite Rich up. We have a new affirmation.
And that's an inside joke. So join us in saying our offertory affirmation together aloud. The gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give in faith. I give it knowing that I'm blessed, and so I gratefully give. We now bless all the gifts that are donated now or coming into the center, as we know they are given from the Spirit and from the love within us. As we practice the law of circulation, money is energy. We express gratitude for this flow of energy of good that is motivated by love and spirit within. These gifts come into the center and go back out to benefit the community, and then come back to us multiplied as good is multiplied. I give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
It's a good inside joke. So I'll tell it on my ministerial musing this week. So on Tuesday, it'll be released. Check it out, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching it right now. Come back and watch the ministerial musing. Or if you go to, it's on our e-news, it's on our website, it's all over the place. But Tuesday, ministerial musing will be the inside joke of why it's so awesome that we have a new offertory affirmation. And so with that, repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by spirits.
I'm led by spirit,
I am guided by wisdom.
guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I'm protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I am so grateful.
And so it is.
So it is.
And now we have a closing song.
All right, I really need you to help me on this. If you're able, please stand. We're going to do Celebrate by Ricky Byers. There is a light of us all. And I don't know if you know there's a light that is so bright. I just thought I'd tell you there is a light inside of us all. And I don't know if you know there's a light that is so bright. And it's time to celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate, come on, celebrate, 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 celebrate. There is a love inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a love that is so strong. I just thought I'd tell you there is a love inside of us all. And I don't know if you know there's a love that is so strong. I just want to celebrate, 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 celebrate. Come on, celebrate, 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 celebrate. There is a joy inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a joy that is so strong. I just thought I'd tell you there is a joy inside of us all, and I don't know if you know there's a joy that is so strong. I just want to celebrate, 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 celebrate. Come on, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate,
so I just send us out into the world grateful for this home base, this community that each and every one of us have right here. And so it is.